Welcome to Smellomania, and I am beyond excited today because I decided to review my absolute favorite perfume brand from Canada called Zoologist. And the secret scented treasure hiding inside this box is bee. As you can see, my bottle is almost empty. I have no idea why it took me so long to finally review it. And here's the iconic Zoologist brand artwork. I'll start my review by setting the stage. Bee smells like hotel buffet honey, incense, birthstone accessories, and spiritual literature. Or at least that was my very first impression, which, now that I'm looking back, was a bit faulty on one important aspect. Bee is one of Zoologist's best-selling perfumes. It was announced as a finalist in the Art and Olfaction Awards in the year 2020. I then decided to explore my speculation about that artificial honey impression that initially overpowered my thoughts. Isn't that an unintentional compliment, I wondered? If humans try to reproduce something, they put all the efforts into making it taste and smell as real as possible. And sometimes our minds get tricked because such lab-made precision just doesn't exist in nature. And that's when the saying too good to be true comes in handy. So I just performed a simple smell test. I took some of that hotel buffet style honey, raw natural honey from a local farmer's market, a delicious honeycomb overflowing with honey, and some bee bread. I then sprayed some bee perfume on my blotter and carried out my experiment. After a serious sniffing session, I concluded that it smells like a beeswax honeycomb the most. The top notes are orange, ginger syrup, royal jelly accord, heart notes, broom, heliotrope, mimosa, orange flower, base notes, benzoin, labdanum, musk, sandalwood, tonka bean, and vanilla. And these were the ingredients used to create the perfect honey perfume. I was gifted that fascinating Zoologist discovery set for my birthday and thought that it was the perfect opportunity to compare the sample to my almost empty bottle. Be prepared, more Zoologist reviews are definitely coming soon. And yes, the sample smelled just the tiniest bit more rich and colorful since it was freshly made, as if the top notes were even higher and the bottom notes felt even more grounded and deep. All the other aspects remained absolutely the same. To me, this is a perfume about spirituality. I remember smelling it the very first time almost 4 years ago, and all I could think of back then definitely wasn't about bees or honey. Back then, I was pondering about Buddhist monks and mysterious esoteric shops. I have a bizarre, completely unrelated memory concerning wheatgrass juice. The lady who was selling that green liquid shared her beliefs with me. She said, "If your body is healthy, the juice will taste good to you. If it's not, you'll absolutely hate it." So I borrowed her wisdom because all the reviews on bee are quite a mixed bag. What if you will most likely enjoy the smell if you're spiritual, and will be left unimpressed if you're not spiritual? You're not spiritual, you're not spiritual, you're not spiritual. Prove that to geckos, prove that to geckos. Bee is so sticky and sweet that it feels like it will give you diabetes. There are so many types of sweet smells around, but this one is on an entirely different level. I already feel thirsty when smelling my wrist, as if I just swallowed the biggest spoon of syrupy honey. I can just spray some perfume on and pretend that I've just had a dessert. It's that sweet that it fully satisfies my sugary cravings. There's one more strong scent beneath that nectarous beginning, and it's what feels like a very floral incense. So we have a combination of incense and ultimate sweetness. No wonder that incense is usually associated with spirituality, and that honey note, which initially seemed quite artificial to me, turned out to be closest related to beeswax, and that super sweetness feels beyond sticky and somewhat floral. Also, the incense impression sets a darker mood, a mood to which I have just the perfect memory for. My grandpa was a beekeeper, and I was his little helper. I used to follow him around everywhere he went and inherited his unconditional chillness when dealing with bees. He had this tiny trailer parked just outside the house, where at least a dozen bee families resided during the colder months. Now that I look back at this, it's funny how hundreds of bees were buzzing in and out of an old trailer. What I remember is that weird contraption he had constructed by himself. I believe it's called a bee smoker. You basically put some burnt wood inside, which is still smoking, and pump the handle to produce some more smoke, which eventually calms down and disorientates the bees so that you could harvest that sweet, sweet honey. So yes, Bee by Zoologist reminded me of that whole experience I had as a child. Some soft smokiness from that torture device paired with dreamy beeswax, honey, and that ancient trailer surrounded by random flowers. When I test fragrances for my reviews, I wear them everywhere I go almost religiously. Walking around my home, immersed in my personal olfactory cloud, wasn't an exception this time. I'm beyond lucky to have my tiny companions who share their most honest reactions to my fragrant experiments. And this time, while I was passing by my family members, sniffing sounds around me intensified, followed by heartfelt sighs. You smell like cookies, she declared. Candies, he added on top. While in my head, I was lost in my vibrant memories of that small esoteric bookshop located in the old town, which was called Zodiac. I swear to all that the saint to me, that bookshop had the exact same smell like 15 years ago. They were selling various tarot cards, wind chimes, incense, spiritual literature, you name it. I guess this association is the main reason why bee smells so spiritual to me. Okay, not only to me. 3 other people have said the exact same thing. It smells just like that old spiritual bookshop. I swear, that tiny bookshop shaped our entire city's concept of modern spirituality and the perception of the New Age odor. So yes, I'll admit it publicly. To me, bee smells like someone who meditates, does yoga, and just got back from that spiritual awakening camp, says the person who owns an almost empty bottle of bee. When my mind brought up memories about tiny packets of artificial honey, I started thinking, what hotel could host such a smell? Where do people go to have their sweet yet spiritual experiences? Maybe topping your buttery French toast with honey in one of hotels in Bali would smell similar? Okay, so I have these keywords so far: incense, spirituality, honey, sweetness, smoky, floral, spiritual leader, out of nowhere, and leading the masses. Bee by Zoologist must be my husband's absolute all-time favorite perfume, reserved for very eccentric moods. Whenever he sprays it on, he ponders about starting his own religion and wearing some weird robes or something. I absolutely understand why the perfume was created while having in mind that queen bee. It would be perfect for a monarch, a spiritual leader who took a darker path and is now controlling everyone from behind the curtains. I've called this perfume sweet a dozen times already. The sweetness from bee replicates honey just perfectly. Honey is quite acidic, going as low as 3.5 pH, and that's almost exactly the same as grapefruit. That's why they put that sour orange note at the beginning. It does a wonderful job at replicating that acidic and overpowering sweetness. So I drew a six-handed spiritual leader covered in honey. Basically, a queen bee's human incarnation. I then tried adding some masking tape and playing around with colors. I really wanted to add some slightly fiendish purple fumes, but ended up smudging everything. I think I liked it better before my smudging intervention. What do you think? Nevertheless, here it is, my interpretation of Bee by Zoologist, a spiritual leader who took a dark path. Thank you so much for watching and see you on the other one the next time. Bye.